Indian packaged food is considered to be the least healthy in the entire world. On average, we have more salt, more sugar, and more fat than all other countries. Most of the times, you will rarely see a child following nutrition. Like, there are many top nutritionists in India, but they often only focus on Bollywood or rich people, like super rich people, and trying to get them to become healthy. How do you get a Bollywood celebrity to become a size 0? Or how do you get this Bollywood celebrity to get an 8-pack or a 10-pack? They often don't focus on children and the mass. My luck or good fortune or whatever has been that many children are also got involved with nutrition. So I'll ask all of you guys, what is the most important thing in our life, according to you guys? Okay, y'all are a trained audience. Y'all know what to answer, that's good. So in our life, one of the most important things is health. And what is health? Like what forms our health? Food, right? Yeah, so large extent, 60-70% of our health is determined by food. And the food we are eating is packaged food, mostly. In the last thousands of years of human history, we've been eating packaged food for the last 50 to 100 years. So I wanted to, again, coming back, in our life, the most important thing is health. Health is strongly determined by food, and the food we are eating is packaged food, and packaged food is openly lying to us. So if I thought that if I can solve packaged food, I'm solving one of the most important issues in our life. And that's what motivated me that I'm going to start talking about packaged food. So I was giving you a quick background. I am like one of you guys. I was at McKinsey till less than 1 year ago. I was a consultant there for 2.5 years. I'm assuming some of you guys may be going there after your college graduation. And before that, I did my MBA from Wharton, and I was in the US for the last 7, 8, 10 years. My point is, I was in the business side of things. Like I studied in a similar college to SRCC. And I, from there, went and started talking about food. I wanted to describe a little bit my journey because I'm one of you guys, a business guy, working at McKinsey and working in consulting and this kind of thing. Indian packaged food is considered to be the least healthy in the entire world. On average, we have more salt, more sugar, and more fat than all other countries. And that is pretty crazy. And that's what I decided that, okay, I'm going to try to fight against this and I'm going to try to make videos against this packaged food. And most of us, we think it's the outside food which is making us sick. We think, acha, ye restaurant ka khana humne kharab kar raha hai. But actually, if you look at studies, we're eating 6.6 times on average outside. The remaining 83.4 times we're eating at home, assuming we eat 3 meals a day. If you eat more than 3 meals a day like me, you're probably eating even more meals at home. So it's actually what we are eating at home, which is what is making us sick. And because what we're eating at home is packaged food. So सब लोग को लगता है यार ये वो burger और fries से हम बीमार हो रहे हैं, but actually हम जो घर पे खा रहे हैं उससे बीमार हो रहे हैं. And every single obesity article that you see, it usually has a picture of someone drinking a Coke. And out here you have a picture of a burger and fries, or usually you'll see samosa or things like that. If you Google obesity India, you'll see a picture of a chocolate or a Coke or something like that. But my point is that, we drink Coke about 1 to 2 times a week on average. Some may have more, some may have less. On average, we have about 1 to 2 times a week. But something like a Bournvita, we are having twice a day. So in a week, we are having 14 glasses of Bournvita and only 1 to 2 times we are having Coke. So we think it's the Coke which is making us sick. But actually, it's the Bournvita and the Horlicks and the Complan, not only again Bournvita, but those kind of drinks. Similarly with biscuits and chocolates, we think it's the chocolates which is making us sick. But actually, it's the biscuit. Because chocolates we are having 1 to 2 times a week. but the biscuits we are having almost every day. So we don't realize, even scientists and doctors who are writing all these reports, they always have a picture of a Coke. But they don't realize what is the actual higher in our calories, what we're actually consuming. Some of these ultra-processed foods are also linked to cancer. Like, all these packaged foods are mostly ultra-processed foods, and they are also linked to cancer. This is very unclear probably from there, it's unclear from here as well, but most of the media on the right-hand side, you'll see, they usually talk about terrorism. And you look at any news article, they usually talk about terrorism and suicide and homicide and all of that. But actually, the majority of our death is happening because of heart disease and cancer. सबको लगता है कि ये terrorism और ये सबसे हम लोग का ज़्यादा effect हो रहा है, but actually, the biggest 3 causes of death is heart disease, cancer, and road accidents. Maybe in India, it's also diabetes. Yeah, this is a US-focused graph. My point is, this is a very, very important issue, and not too many people are talking about it. Okay. Have everyone used this ketchup? They call themselves fresh tomato ketchup. And when you turn around the pack, they say, this is only a brand name or trademark and not the true nature. They've named the ketchup fresh, but it's actually not fresh. And we'll just quickly go over ORS. They have named themselves ORS, पीछे में लिखा है not an ORS. Isn't that crazy? This is also like a medical product. Like, people are having it when they are dehydrated or they have a heat stroke and they're having ORS thinking कि अरे मेरे को ये अच्छा करेगा, but पीछे में लिखा है not an ORS. It's like Good Day biscuit. Cashew almond cookies has 1.8% almonds and 0.4% cashews. Cashew almond cookies, and mainly it has maida. Tang has 93% sugar. यहाँ पर लिखा है as much vitamin C as one orange, and many people have it every day. It has 93% sugar. And if 93% sugar is not sweet enough for you, it also has an artificial sweetener on top of the 93% sugar. And once again, when we have Coke, Pepsi, we feel slightly, maybe sometimes, we sometimes feel guilty. But when we have something like this, ये तो casually पी लेते हैं, सोचते भी नहीं है. 93% sugar, यार उसमें तो SRCC में admission भी नहीं मिलेगा. Act 2, butter lovers popcorn has absolutely no butter. This was my favorite as a kid. These companies can name themselves anything. And just because a company named itself something doesn't mean anything. You can call yourself Delhi Daredevils, you can call yourself Delhi Chargers, Delhi Capitals. It doesn't matter, you're still going to come last in the IPL. So similarly, the companies can name themselves anything. They can call themselves butter lovers popcorn, they can call themselves whatever they want. They still don't have any of that, and that's pretty concerning. This is hazelnut choco peanut spread. By now you all have understood. Hazelnut choco peanut spread has absolutely no hazelnuts. It's just the name, hazelnut choco peanut spread. Again, if you have only 2 biscuits a day, you have more than 700 biscuits in a year. Did you even spend 2 minutes or 5 minutes before reading deciding which biscuit is right for you? And if you buy biscuits for your entire family of 4 people, you're having about 2,800 biscuits in a year, your family. But why don't we spend even 2 to 5 minutes reading labels? So I've been involved with 4 different fronts. So I wanted to solve and make India health literate. So the first thing was how to get food education into the school curriculums. So I've been assisting some policy makers to try to get food, nutrition. जैसे हम history पढ़ रहे हैं, geography पढ़ रहे हैं, और integration, differentiation पढ़ रहे हैं. Should we also study nutrition in our school curriculum? That's something which I've been working on. The second thing is how to get the government to pass a stronger front of label packaging system. For example, a lot of the work which I'm doing, I'm showing front and back. अगर front में ही सच्चाई बोल दें, तो back देखने का जरूरत ही नहीं होगा. So I've been trying to see if we can work with policy makers to see if the front of package can be better. Third, is trying to get companies to become more accountable through awareness, which I'm following, which I'm trying to spread on social media. Through Instagram and other platforms, I'm trying to spread awareness about food. And lastly, try to use technology. Like all of you guys are smart people. Can we not make an app where you can scan the barcode and it'll tell you how healthy your product is? It's not that complicated. One more interesting fact is only 10% of India knows how to read English. I may be wrong in the 10%, but it's like a very small number is my point. But every single label is in English. So can there not be a QR code in the front of the package which translates every food into other languages, like the nutrition labels? So these are some of the things which I've been working on. People on social media think hey, this guy is just going and saying palm oil, chini and all of that, but there's a lot of other things which I'm also trying to do behind the scenes. And yeah, so I made an interesting video. This is something which some of you may already know. Is I made a video on my favorite product, Bournvita. Has this claim, Tan ki Shakti, Man ki Shakti, and so this product, all of us, or a large number of us, have grown up drinking. And I made a video. I left my job in the US. I came to India. And I had 800 followers on Instagram. So I just casually made this video without realizing what the repercussions would be. And this video went crazy viral. It got millions of views, like 12 million views on Instagram, millions more on WhatsApp. And the company did not like it. They sent me a legal notice asking me to take down the video. Then I had a lot of pressure from my family कि ये अपना job छोड़ दिया और यहाँ आ गया and ये बड़ा companies के साथ झगड़ा कर रहा है. Then my family asked me to delete the video, and I deleted the video. And then the video got even more traction because the media picked it up. It was all over TV, newspapers, and the international media was also covering it. Then the company got even more angry and they set a public statement saying that my video is not scientific. The company said that my video is not scientific. You can imagine how stressed I must be. I left my job in the US, I'm in India, and the company is saying my video is not scientific. And they also sent me a legal notice. This is also from Marine Drive in Mumbai. Someone put a hoarding against the company saying, you can see Bournvita sweet talk exposed, bitter truth revealed on top. My point is, like, it became a whole movement. So anyway, the company they said that my video is not scientific. And then one of the leading nutrition bodies in India, a team of 8 doctors, nutritionists, and professors, signed a document saying that my video is entirely scientific. And in April last year, thank you. April last year, in April beginning, the company sent me a legal notice. And April end, the government sent them a notice asking them to take down their packages, which they were doing for the last 75 years. They started in India. It was a British company, Cadbury. It started in India in 1948, Bournvita, and 75 years later, they changed their recipe and they reduced sugar by 15% finally. So this was not just a one-off thing. I kept making more and more videos, and Maggi ketchup also reduces sugar by 22%. And I kept making videos against many, many more companies. Like, you go on my Instagram and pretty much every major company which we eat, I've made a video on, like, whether it's Coke or Pepsi or Sting or whatever else may be the product, I've probably made a video on it. And there are many. This is an article by Forbes, and this is the IAS entrance exams also started covering this particular Bournvita and, like, what should be the health star rating. So it's pretty crazy that an Instagram reel is now a part of the IAS entrance exams in some way or form. And I have one line for all these brands. If you send me a legal notice, I will get you publicly noticed. So now I am no longer afraid of any of these brands. Legal notice bhejna hai, bhejo. Like, you have to be prepared that once you send me that legal notice, I may use that and get you even more attention. So as long as you're prepared for that, be more than willing. And the point is that earlier, I, like anyone else, like I was also scared, but now I've realized that the only path to transformation and making India healthier and making myself healthier and my family healthier and all of us healthier is to face that. You cannot run away from any legal things that they try to do. And often they are also doing it to scare you. They also don't want to fight. Something which I realized. So now in my videos, I often use a lot of aggression, which I like, I sound also a bit like, if I'm talking to an individually, I'll be very normal. But in my video, I'll be very aggressive. And the reason is because I'm trying to give a message to the company as well that I'm not going to back down. I'm going to fight. So that's like my entire thing is that what if all of us start, developing some sort of an attitude? And just a lot of other companies, besides changing their sugar, have also changed some of their packaging. This company used to say rich in vitamin C. Now they say source of vitamin C. Storia coconut water. It used to earlier say combats viruses. After COVID, they should start claiming combats viruses. Vaccine ke badle ye le lo. And baad mein they removed combats viruses. My point is all these companies are making these changes. This is just a general example. In a clothing store, when we go, how much time do you typically, when you go to Zara or any clothing store, how much time do you spend when you buy a dress or a t-shirt or something? 1 hour. Wow. 2 hours. 30 minutes. And how much time do you spend when you buy a biscuit? 30 seconds. Yeah, exactly. My point is, again, what I said before is that we spend so much time when we go and buy a dress or a t-shirt, like at least we spend 10 minutes at minimum. People are saying 1 hour and 30 minutes, and at least we spend 10 minutes. For a dress that we wear 10, 15, 20 times in a year. But for a biscuit we eat every single day, why don't we spend time? Again, a lot of people after my Bournvita reel started calling me an overnight sensation. They started calling me lucky. But this is a line from my book which I wrote 10 years ago, where I wrote that, we can start reading nutrition labels. My point is, this is not just a one-off thing that I'm doing. I've been trying to do work in this space for a longer time. And sometimes people don't realize the amount of people we are reaching through social media. Social media, if a TV news was there, you would take it seriously. But someone in social media saying something, you may not take it as seriously. I don't know if you can see it from there. It's 15 million people in the last, this is from yesterday's screenshot I took. It's 15 million accounts reached just in 30 days. And that's 1.5 crore people. And every month, just through one platform, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and WhatsApp is different. Just through one platform, we are reaching 1.5 crore people in 1 month. So if you take 12 months, you're reaching more than 10 crore people just through Instagram. And that is more than some leading news channels which have 100 employees. So that is pretty crazy, the reach, not only that I have, and a lot of other people also on social media has. And I'm very bullish that many individuals on social media will the company, usually many sponsors and all, they go to news channels for ads and all of that. But I think a lot of that in the next 5 years is going to shift to social media. It's already happening, but it's going to happen much quicker. We can go quicker, So I started also a sugar board movement in schools, where I was showing how much sugar there is in many leading drinks. We can just keep going. And many schools started adopting the sugar board in their schools, where they were showing how much teaspoons of sugar there is in each of the leading drinks. And many teachers from all different economic backgrounds, whether it's an SRCC type college or whether it's a much more localized college, they were putting these sugar boards. And I would also recommend, if you guys want, you all can also put something like this in your school canteen, in your college canteen, like a sugar board, showing how much sugar there is. And if you cannot take names openly, you can use something like this which doesn't have any name. Like, if you feel like, yaar, kaun lagayega, by chance koi company sponsor karna band kar de. Again, there are many other students, like, 8-year-old, 7-year-old children. Like, most of the times, you will rarely see a child following nutrition. There are many top nutritionists in India, but they often only focus on Bollywood or rich people, like super rich people, and trying to get them to become healthy. How do you get a Bollywood celebrity to become a size 0? Or how do you get this Bollywood celebrity to get an 8-pack or a 10-pack? They often don't focus on children and the mass. My luck or good fortune or whatever has been that many children are also got involved with nutrition. That's very, 8-year-old, 6-year-olds. When I was a 6-year-old, 8-year-old, I never cared about health. Koi meko bolega isme sugar hai, I didn't care about that. But the amazing part has been that many students have become, and 6, 7-year-old, 8-year-old students have become a part of this sugar board movement. One quick thing which I'll all teach all of you all, I don't want to just explain, I want to also teach, is there are 3 sections of any food package. One is the front section, and then there is the back section, which is the nutrition label and the ingredient list. Most of the problem is most people only look at the front. Most people only look at the front, and if you look at the front, they have a lot of marketing claims, like mulethi, ashwagandha, cardamom, ginger, tulsi. Then you see the word light. People think light is healthier. They use other sort of Veda, to signify Ayurveda. And my point is, any company in their front, they usually use many green leaves and all. They always use these kind of things, and most of the public, they fall for it. So my only advice is, don't just look at the front, always turn around the package and look at the back. And when people look at the back also, the problem is they only look at 2 things. One is the MRP and second is the expiry date. And there's a funny line. Most of us prefer ki lamba expiry date is the better hai. But actually the thing is, longer the expiry date, the sooner our expiry date. Because the product has too much preservatives, usually. There are some exceptions with this, but on average, longer the expiry date, the sooner our expiry date. So don't just look at the expiry date, don't just look at the MRP, there are more important things. Look at the ingredient list. These are some quick rule of thumb. On average, longer the ingredient list, the worse the product. So if you're buying a peanut butter, you should buy a peanut butter with only one ingredient, peanuts. But many large companies will have peanuts, sugar, hydrogenated oil, and many other things. A peanut butter should have only one ingredient, peanuts. So try to buy products which have only 5 ingredients or less, and ideally, best products have only one ingredient. Another quick tip is, if you cannot pronounce the ingredients, most likely it is bad for you. There are some exceptions, but there are so many companies which use weird things which most of us don't even know what it is, and most of the times when we don't know something, it's usually bad for us. So if you can't pronounce the ingredient, most of the times it's bad for you. There are some exceptions again. And the last thing is, ingredient lists are listed in order of weight. So the first ingredient is highest by volume, followed by the second ingredient, followed by the third. So if sugar or maida is in the first 3 ingredients, you should probably not have it too often. Any questions that all of you guys have? And again, thank you so much for having me here. And once again, I want to remind all of y'all, I was a business student. I am coming from a very similar background. And then I'm left all of that and I'm doing something very non-traditional. Now some people call me a de-influencer, some people call me an influencer, some people call me a food crusader, some people call me a health educator, people call me all sorts of things, but I'm doing something very, very different, but I'm still taking a path which any of you all can take if you all want. I'm very interested to know any of your thoughts as well. Thank you.
Hi, sir. Thank you so much for coming here. My question to you that as a student, most of us who live in hostels and PGs, how can we ensure that we make wise food decisions? Also, most of the time we are here in the college for say 8 to 9 hours and there are rarely any healthy food options available. So what can we do in this situation? Thank you.
Thank you. That's a good question. That's a difficult question. I'll have to talk to some of the people who are. No, I'm joking. It's honestly not an easy call, to be very honest. Because the options often are limited, not only in this college but in every single college. That's been an issue, and a lot of people have emailed me कि यार खाए तो क्या खाएं यार, हॉस्टल में सब कुछ ही अगर खराब है. But I'm sure ये थोड़ा बहुत आप लोग को जो सब्जी वो सब होता होगा. I'm assuming that is not exactly packaged. So if you can have more of those things. If you guys in breakfast, if you get omelets or oats or something like along those lines, you can try to have that. You can try to have more of nuts, and you can unsweetened protein shakes, and you can have dates on top to make it sweet. My point is, just if you're slightly more mindful, you don't just eat पूरा packet of Parle G खा लिया ऐसे ही. Just try to be a little bit mindful. Is what's your point of view on veganism?
Yes, sir.
So, so there are multiple aspects around animals. One is the ethical side of it. Second is the environmental side of it. Third is the health side of it. So, in the ethical side and the environmental side, I strongly agree with the vegans that ethically speaking, the way we treat animals is really, really horrible. And if we can just opt to not have non-veg or like animals, then you can save that entire animal from being tortured for a long time. So from purely an ethical perspective and from a statistical point, there are 7 billion humans, approximately 8 billion now. Approximately, out of the 8 billion humans, 7 billion are meat eaters, approximately, who are each eating meat 1.5 times, 1 to 2 times in a day. So every day, out of 8 billion, if 7 billion humans are eating meat 1.5 times, so which is 7 billion multiplied by 1.5 is 10.5 billion meals. Even if one animal gives 5 portions, that 10.5 divided by 5, that's 2 billion animals every day. That's the population of India and like half of China almost, right? My point is that's the number of animals we are possibly killing every day. It's a very, very large number. So I do, many people make fun of vegans and all of that, but I do agree that ethically speaking, it's a very, very important thing. Second is the environmental thing, where also the resources it takes to have a chicken or have a cow, eat a cow, it's very, very environmentally draining as well. So in those two fronts, I completely agree with vegans. The third is the health aspect. That is slightly more complicated. There are advantages to a plant-based diet, and there are some disadvantages as well, multivitamins and protein and things like that, which is slightly you have to be more mindful. So on the health standpoint, I am not entirely always agreement with vegans, but on the environment and the ethical aspect, I 100% agree with vegans.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I am Harshita. So, sir, you mentioned that you're from a business background. You left your job for this. So, what was the turning point in your life that actually inspired you that you in the delve of the consumer advocacy?
So I'm asked this very, very often कि यार क्यों किया ये, क्यों कर रहे हो? And to be very honest, I don't have a very good answer in the sense that most people expect me to say कि I was suffering from some health issue and then I realized that I want to fight, or my family was suffering from something. It was not that. I am genuinely very, very interested in social impact. And as I said in the beginning, if you think life was the most important, health, then food, and then packaged food. So if I solve packaged food, I'm solving health. Right. My point is again, When I'm interested in social impact, and I also think in the big picture perspective, life में हमें 2-3 social issues काफी important है. एक है health. Health को मुझे solve करना kind of आता है, मतलब packaged food को at least solve करना आता है. I don't know how to solve poverty. I care about poverty as well, but I don't know how to solve it. I care about air pollution as well, but I don't know how to solve air pollution. But I do know how to solve the packaged food thing, which solves a very, very important problem of health. Like, you tell me I am willing to argue or listen to anyone, what is the fastest way to get 140 crore Indians healthier? Just imagine if we all started reading labels, companies would have no option but to start giving us better quality food. Companies would have no option but to stop false marketing. So it's such an easy problem if I just get everyone to start reading labels and they make healthier choices. It's like a very cheap way to solve it also. Like, if I suppose another solution someone would say कि हर एक street में एक gym खोल दो. But that's a very expensive thing, right? It's not possible. Like, it will take thousands and thousands of crores to do that. But to do something like this, इसमें खाली लोगों को बोल दो packaged food में label पढ़ने. That's a very easy solution and very impactful solution as well. It's not only कि बस वो हो रहा है. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.